Hey YouTube, what's up? It's CS back here with another installment, and here's my review for UFC 146, Dos Santos versus Mir. But before I start reviewing this event altogether, I just want to get out my contest. Yeah, the winner for this UFC Best of 2011 for picking Junior Dos Santos via second round knockout and for being subscribed to me. The person picked at random is the man 0001. So thank you for participating, my dude, and I hope you receive this in the mail real soon. As for everyone else, don't fret, there will be more contest opportunities in the future, so stay tuned for those. But guys, let's take a look at this event altogether. Damn, crazy stuff, because a lot of people did what they were supposed to do, a lot of people weren't. Like Edson Barboza and Diego Brando, for example. What the hell was that shit? So, yeah, I don't know, guys. Crazy night of fights, I gotta say. And it's crazy. The guys on the heavyweight main card, for the most part, when I look back on it, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. So props to those guys. But some of the guys on the undercard, damn, that was horrible. You know what I'm saying? But let's take a look at this shit from the top. Let's start with that heavyweight championship main event between the champion Junior Dos Santos and the challenger Frank Mir. Well, there it is, guys. Junior Dos Santos did exactly what he said he was going to do at the weigh-ins. Second round knockout of Frank Mir. It became very evident that Frank Mir was going to lose his fight after the beginning of the first round, where Junior kind of shook him off in that takedown attempt, and Frank Mir couldn't even pull guard or have Junior follow him. So, yeah, Junior is just not dumb enough to fight Frank Mir's game. Junior will fight his own game. Just striking. He loves it that much, and to benefit him, he's pretty good at it. Technically pretty sound. Knows how to do a 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pretty much trying to set up the whole fight in this fight, though, the uppercut. But yeah, it was pretty obvious for me, and it was pretty obvious for Frank. However, it still didn't save him because he still got clipped at the end of round 1. And if Junior had another 30 seconds, he probably would have went more ham on him and probably would have finished him by strikes if he had another 30 seconds in that round 1. Again, nevertheless, in round 2, like he promised, a second round knockout right there. Frank Mir got caught with the cross. Junior followed him to the mat. Frank Mir looked like he was going to recover in terms of grabbing a limb. Junior just had none of it. Frank Mir was supposed to stand back up, couldn't. Junior hit him with one more strikes. I believe it was Herb Dean, who was the ref, just called that shit. So, good win for Junior Dos Santos. He was on point. He knew how to, create distance in this one, and pretty much just try to set up, a punch. He was trying to set up the uppercut and then caught Frank off guard with that cross. So, good win for Junior Dos Santos. Frank Mir just doesn't have it athletically in order to hang with guys like Cain Velasquez and Junior Dos Santos and Alistair Overeem, in my opinion. He's going to be a good, top 5 gatekeeper if you ask me, but he's not going to beat guys like this, and even Shane Carwin in a rematch or some shit like that. So, what can I say about Frank Mir? It's just like if you hit him in the face, good things happen. And there it is, example of Junior Dos Santos. So what's next for Junior Dos Santos? Of course, they're giving him Cain Velasquez. I'd still like to see the Overeem fight myself, but that's just me. You guys can tell me what you guys think about that. As for Frank Mir, I'd like to see him versus Josh Barnett. Yeah, Josh Barnett to the UFC, please. I know he's been clean lately, and hopefully he wants to play by Dana's game. We'll see. But folks, let's move on to the rest of the heavyweight main card, starting with that co-main event between Cain Velasquez and Antonio Bigfoot Silva. My God, guys, Cain Velasquez went ham on that kid. Antonio Bigfoot Silva threw that kick, got caught, got taken down, and that was all she wrote, because Cain Velasquez apparently still has nasty ground and pound, pretty accurate, and he ain't gonna get tired punching your face. Bigfoot Silva, pretty big ass chin. A lot of people have broken their hands punching him in the face. Cain Velasquez just kept going like an Energizer bunny when he was on top of Bigfoot. That was rather nasty. Probably one of the nastier bloodbaths I've seen in MMA in terms of one guy just bleeding himself. God, that was a lot of blood. But yeah, Cain Velasquez, clearly knows how to get it done when he's on top. He ain't going to let up. He ain't going to get caught in stupid submissions. Shout out to Cain for fighting his fight in this fight, unlike the Junior Dos Santos heavyweight championship match on UFC on Fox 1. So, yeah, can Cain Velasquez do this to Junior Dos Santos this time? Who knows? Junior's ability to keep it on feet is ridiculous. Then again, Cain, when he does get to the ground, it's just like, wow. better watch out. But it's hard for me to picture Junior Dos Santos on his back. Different kind of takedown artists have tried to put him on his back. Straight up D1 wrestlers like Cain Velasquez, guys who try to pull guard like Frank Mir. It's just like no one's been able to do it. And if Cain Velasquez can't put you on your back, who is? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if someone's gonna beat Cain via Cain's style of game, it's gonna be Cain Velasquez, and that's gonna be a fun fight. I'm gonna be looking forward to that. If Cain comes the way he did against Junior Dos Santos, believe it or not, I might be leaning towards Cain. But then again, like I said, it is hard to picture Junior Dos Santos on his back. Respect to both dudes, though, for fighting their fight this time. So yeah, Cain Velasquez is going to fight Junior Dos Santos. As for Bigfoot Silva, I'd like to see him welcome Shane Carwin back into the UFC. I think that would be a good fight for both guys. All right, now let's move on to the next heavyweight match on this main card. Of course, this one was between Roy Big Country Nelson and Dave Pee Wee Herman. Guys, this was the battle of the wackest mid-of-America nicknames, you know what I'm saying? And Roy Nelson came up on top, like most people thought he would. It's just, how can you pick Dave Herman in this match? Do you really expect Dave Herman to come in there with a solid game plan? His only shot, in my opinion, of winning this fight was to keep, Roy Nelson on the outside and circle. He didn't do that. He did not do enough of lateral movement. So when you're a striker who doesn't do that and doesn't keep his hands up the whole time against Roy Nelson, and you're just in front of him, you're going to get clipped by that overhand right. So props to Roy Nelson for doing exactly what he's supposed to do. Could have got to the ground, but when you're as whack as Dave Herman was looking in that first round, then, go ahead and knock him out. So nice win for Roy Nelson. I'd like to see him still fight Gabriel Gonzaga. Would be nice. And I'd like to see Dave Herman versus Brendan Schaub. Loser gets cut. Real talk. All right, next heavyweight bout to break down. Stipe Miocic versus Shane Del Rosario. Guys, I picked Shane Del Rosario on pure talent. I picked him on, his stuff. I thought he'd be able to execute on the feet and knock out Shane Del Rosario in the first round. I thought Shane would get caught. I thought Stipe would get caught. He was getting in a brawl mode versus someone like Philip DeFries. I'm like, yo, Shane Del Rosario going to fuck you up if you just leave your head open like that. Shane Del Rosario was just content fighting on the outside, throwing kicks and stuff. And sure, that was hurting Stipe Miocic. And, he got the first round, in my opinion, Shane Del Rosario. But, what happens in the second round? You're coming off a car accident layoff for over a year. Will you have the gas tank to do it in the second round? I thought that Shane Del Rosario kind of would come in going guns ablaze because I thought he would know that he didn't have the cardio to go 3 rounds. You know what I'm saying? So, because he didn't feel like finishing in first, I was just like, wow, he's going to gas, and he did. So nice win for Stipe Miocic, getting it done with his wrestling. When he does use it, it is good, and he showed it. So nice win for Stipe, winning via elbows in the second round. What's next for Stipe Miocic? I'd like to see him versus the winner of Travis Brown and Rob Broughton, which should be Travis Brown. So look forward to that fight. Both guys can keep it on the feet. Both guys have some skills on the ground. I think that'd be a sick fight. As for Shane Del Rosario, I think he's still going to be a great heavyweight, to be honest. I think he's too talented. Solid Muay Thai, solid submissions. He's a very good heavyweight, in my opinion. Skill set wise, we just have to see him mature as a fighter in terms of, is he going to be durable? Is he going to be mentally stable enough? So why not put him up against someone who makes or breaks some fighters? Someone like Joey Beltran. I think that would be a good fight for Shane Del Rosario. And the last bout we're going to look at now from the main card is the one that kicked it off, Stephen Struve versus LeVar Johnson. Guys, LeVar Johnson did exactly what I thought he was going to do, except for finish Stephen Struve. Run across the ring, land punches in the clinch, and hopefully knock out Stephen Struve. That didn't happen. Stephen Struve pulled guard, got the armbar. That's a win because LeVar Johnson's ground game, probably the wackest in the UFC. You almost got submitted by Pat Barry. Damn it. That's horrible, So Stephen Struve, as soon as that hits the ground and he's not taking punches to the head, body bag, that's it. He pretty much took that arm home with him. So nice win for Stephen Struve. What's next for him? I'd still like to see the Mark Hunt fight. I think that'd be pretty compelling. And as for LeVar Johnson, maybe him versus another submission grappler, maybe Philip DeFries. But let's move on, folks, and run through this preliminary card, starting with Darren Elkins versus Diego Brandao. Guys, in terms of skill set, Diego Brandao should win this fight 9 times out of 10. And when I say 9 times out of 10, this is the lone one time where Diego Brandao starts fighting like an idiot. You know, it's surprising to me that this guy is, you know, a Jackson's fighter, because he certainly didn't fight like one in this fight. In the first round, he was, you know, landing on Darren Elkins, and of course, when Darren Elkins was on the mat, you know, Diego Brandao doing his best Fyodor Emelianenko impersonation. Yeah, not finishing the fight, because no one finishes like that when you're 145 pounds, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, as soon as you just waste your gas like that, you know, you're going to get taken down by a takedowns guy in Darren Elkins, and just, you know, losing the takedowns, because Darren Elkins wasn't doing much else. So, solid win for Darren Elkins, taking advantage of Diego Brandao not fighting like the way he's supposed to. So, nice win for Elkins. What's next for him? I'd like to see him versus another kind of fighter like Diego Brandao, maybe Jason Young. Let's see him get it to the ground consistently against a guy who, you know, I think has improved his takedown defense and probably would fuck him up on the feet. As for Brandao, him versus Nam Fan, you know, I think that'd be a fun fight. Jamie Varner versus Edson Barboza in the featherweight division. Sorry, lightweight division. Like, 2-week notice, Jamie Varner knocked out Edson Barboza on the feet. Props to Jamie Varner for going ham. Edson Barboza just doesn't react well to getting hit hard, I guess. You know, he was doing his low kicks and stuff, looking real good too, but, you know, he just didn't like those counters from Jamie Varner. You know, Jamie Varner still can strike, so respect to Jamie Varner. I'd like to see him versus the winner of Sam Stout and Spencer Fisher. As for Edson Barboza, him versus John McDessie, two strikers going at it, two young strikers. I think that'd be a fun fight. CB Dalloway versus Jason Miller. Body bag, nice win for CB. Didn't look nice, but to beat Jason Miller, I still think it's something, although he is pretty much done. Clearly, Jason Miller wants to focus on his MTV2 kind of stuff, or Spike TV kind of shit. Like, the guy is a personality for MMA, for sure. He's no longer an MMA fighter because he just got 30-26 by CB Dalloway. That was despicable. CB Dalloway spending a lot of time on top, not doing a heck of a whole lot else. So, yeah, that's what happened. I don't want to even talk about it. Ugly. Dan Hardy versus Dwayne Ludwig. Watch out for that lead left hook from Dan Hardy, because it is nasty. Dwayne Ludwig, I thought, would have you know, adhered to that more because of his knowledge of the kickboxing game. And I think he thought he could take it, but I guess he couldn't. You know, Dan Hardy apparently threw that with a lot of emphasis, had a lot of oomph in it, and it put out Dwayne Ludwig. So nice win for Dan Hardy. Props to him for saving his job. Next up, Paul Sass versus Jacob Volkman. If you're a wrestler and all you do is wrestle and you don't have at least a brown belt under a decent instructor, you will get triangled by Paul Sass. Props to Paul Sass for doing exactly what he's supposed to do. I like to see Paul Sass versus Cody McKenzie. So you got Sass Angle versus McKenzie Teen. I think that'd be a sick fight. Jacob Volkman, him versus Nick Lentz. Why not? Because they're two boring fighters, and they're probably going to get the same treatment in the UFC on the undercards. Now, Glover Teixeira versus Kyle Kingsbury in light heavyweight. Glover Teixeira pretty much better everywhere, and he displayed it. On the feet, more aggressive, more on point, landing at will. When it hit the ground, arm triangle. Kyle Kingsbury didn't even bother to answer the telephone. So, nice win for Glover Teixeira. Talk about not having UFC jitters in your debut. Him versus Stanislav Nemkov. I'd like to see if Nemkov would ever fight in the UFC again. And Kyle Kingsbury, him versus Cyril Jabate, two strikers going at it. We'll see who's whacker. Mike Brown versus Daniel Pineda kicked off this card. Nice win for Mike Brown. Daniel Pineda, the reason I picked him to win was exactly what he did in the third round. But if he had more time, would have been nice. Solid win for Mike Brown nevertheless. Him versus Cub Swanson or Ross Pearson, whoever comes out on the victory end, I'd like to see face Mike Brown. And Daniel Pineda, I don't know who he should fight. Well, there it is, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed that event altogether, and what I had to say about it, because I think that's about it for me for UFC 146, Dos Santos versus Mir. So, yeah, until next time, I think we'll just see you later. Again, more contests in the future. The next card, I believe, is the Tough Finale. I'm not sure if I'll have one for that, but stay tuned and you'll find out. So, you know, thank you for all the support once again, guys. Deuces for all my supporters, bruises for all my haters, and take care.